This is the video tutorial for the Happy Days JANIS tea bag wallet. And this is how we make it. You will need 3 contrasting pieces of fabric. Plain and small print works best for this, and non-directional. You'll also need a cam snap. We'll start by making the tab. Place your tab fabric pretty sides up and fold it in half and press. Then add clips to this side and this side. I've added my clips and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to sew along this side and along this side. I've sewn along and now I'm going to turn it the right way out. I've turned it the right way out and now I'm going to put it to one side while we work on the rest of the wallet. We'll start by making the bottom pocket. Place your bottom fabric pretty sides down so you're looking at the back of the fabric, and fold it in half and press. Top stitch along the folded edge about 1/4 of an inch down. You might want to use your fancy stitch at this stage. I've top stitched along the folded edge, and now I'm going to put this pocket to one side for the moment. The next 2 pockets are made in a different way to the first one we've just made. So place your fabric right sides up so you're looking at the pretty side, and then fold it in half, matching these side edges and the top edge. Then add some clips along this long edge. I've added my clips and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine, use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew all the way along. I've sewn all the way down and now I'm going to turn it the right way out. I've turned it the right way out and I've pressed it, and I've made sure that the seam is in the centre. Now take it over the sewing machine and top stitch about 1/4 inch from this edge all the way down. Once again, you could use your fancy stitch if you like. I've top stitched, and that's your pocket all finished, and we'll put that to one side and work on the next one. We're now working on the final pocket. It's made in exactly the same way as the one we've just made. So place your pocket fabric pretty sides up and fold in half. Match up the top and the sides and add some clips. I've added my clips and I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew all the way along. I've sewn all the way across and now I'm going to turn it the right way out. I've turned it the right way out and pressed it, and I've ensured that the seam is in the centre. And now I'm going to top stitch all along as I did before, and once again, if you're using your fancy stitch, you can try it along there. I've top stitched along, and that's your final pocket made. Now we're joining everything together. Place your lining fabric right sides up, so you're looking at the pretty side. Take a ruler and measure from the bottom 4 centimetres and draw a line, and measure from the bottom 7 centimetres and draw a line. We'll start by adding the first pocket. Place your pocket on this line and make sure that your top stitching is at the top. Add some clips and then take it over the sewing machine, and using a scant 1/4 inch, so fairly close to the edge, sew carefully along. As you can see, I've put my clips fairly high up so I don't catch them when I'm sewing down here with my sewing machine. I've sewn fairly close to the edge all along, and now I'm going to take my next pocket and place it on the next line. And as I did before, I've added my clips, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine as I did before, sew fairly close to the edge and do a scant 1/4 inch all the way across. Now we'll take the final pocket and place it with the edges lining up all the way around, and once again add some clips. I've added my clips. Now I'm going to sew close to the edge all the way along. I've sewn all across the bottom, and now I'm going to sew fairly close to the side all the way up to the top of this first pocket, and do the same for this side. These are holding stitches and they won't be seen in the final make. I've sewn quite close to the edge both sides to keep everything in place. Now we need to sew a line down the centre, and to determine the centre, simply fold in half and press, open out, and then draw a line along the crease. I've found my centre and I've drawn my line, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and I'm going to sew all along the line I drew. I won't be sewing at the top. I've sewn all the way down, forming the pockets. Now take your front fabric and place it right sides down, and we need to find the centre just at this end. And to do that, once again, fold in half, either finger press or you can take it over to your iron, and this will give us our centre mark. Now we're working on the tab that we made earlier. Place your tab with the raw edge on this side and fold in half to form a crease. This is simply to find the centre. Now take your tab with the crease in and the crease on your front fabric and place them together. Line up the raw edge and then take your pen and make a mark right on the edge, as I've done. I've moved my tab out of the way and you can clearly see the 2 marks I made. Now we're joining everything together. Place your fabric with the pockets on, right sides up, and then take your front piece and place it right sides to right sides ensure everything lines up, then add some clips. I've added clips all the way around, and I've put a gap sign there to remind me not to sew where the tab's going. And now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and use 1/4 inch seam allowance. Sew and stop, sew along there and stop, back up and stop, along and stop, and then back to my gap line and stop. I've sewn all the way around. I've remembered to leave my gap, so I haven't sewn between these 2 lines, and I've also snipped each of the corners for a nicer finish when we turn it. And that's what we're going to do next, turn it through the gap. I've turned it the right way out, and I've pushed out all the corners and pressed it. I'm now going to put the tab inside the gap I left, about 1 centimetre. I've pinned the tab into place, and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine, and I'm going to carefully sew the tab into place quite close to the edge. I've sewn all along the tab, and the last step is to add the cam snaps. And that's your JANIS tea bag wallet all finished. It just needs 2 tea bags.